Hello, friends. It's good to be here with you today. You know, life keeps moving faster and faster, and sometimes it feels like we're all just trying to keep up. But today, I want to slow down a bit and talk about something that might seem simple, but is more important than ever: peace. I'm not just talking about peace between nations, although that's important too. I'm talking about the kind of peace that starts within us. That quiet, steady feeling that gives us the strength to be better people, to build better relationships, and to create a better world. But let me ask you this: when did we stop believing that peace was possible? Not just for the world, but for ourselves. We get so caught up in competition, comparison, and the endless noise of life that peace starts to feel like a distant dream. But I don't think it has to be that way. I believe peace is still possible. It's not something we wait for, it's something we build, choice by choice, moment by moment. Now, I know that sounds easier said than done. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us, and it's tempting to respond with anger, fear, or frustration. But here's the thing: peace is not about never getting upset or never facing problems. It's about how we choose to respond. Imagine this: you're standing by a lake, and someone throws a stone into the water. At first, there's a big splash and ripples spread out in every direction. But if you wait long enough, the water becomes still again. That stillness is always there, waiting beneath the surface. That's what peace is like. No matter how chaotic life gets, we can find our way back to that stillness if we choose to. And maybe you're thinking, John, that sounds great, but what can I do? I'm just one person. Believe me, I get it. It's easy to feel powerless in a world that's so loud and divided. But let me tell you something: you have more power than you think. Peace doesn't start with governments or headlines. It starts with you and me, right here, right now. Every time you choose to listen instead of interrupt, you're creating peace. Every time you choose to understand instead of judge, you're creating peace. Every time you practice kindness, even when it's hard, you're creating peace. And those small actions, they ripple out, just like the stone in the lake. I remember when I wrote Imagine. Some people thought I was naive. They said the song was unrealistic, that the world would never be that way. But I didn't write it because I thought everything was already perfect. I wrote it because I believed in the power of imagination. Because here's the truth: nothing ever changes unless we first imagine that it can. Think about it: every great invention, every movement for justice, every moment of progress began with someone who dared to imagine something different. And that's what I want you to do today. I want you to imagine peace, not just as a distant dream, but as something real and possible. And peace isn't just about how we treat others, it's also about how we treat ourselves. If we're at war with our own thoughts, how can we offer peace to the world? So many of us carry burdens we don't need. Old regrets, fears that hold us back, expectations that aren't even ours to carry. It's like being a traveler with a backpack that's too heavy. When you finally stop and look inside, you realize that half of what you're carrying is unnecessary. And when you let go of that weight, the journey becomes lighter, freer. Letting go isn't always easy. It takes courage to face what's inside that backpack. But here's the thing: when you let go, you make room for something better. You make room for joy, for growth, and for connection. And connection, that's really what it's all about, isn't it? We live in a world that tries to divide us, that tells us we're different, separate, alone. But the truth is, we're all connected. Like notes in a song, we each bring our own sound, our own rhythm. And when we play together, something beautiful happens. Life isn't meant to be a competition where we're all fighting for the top spot. It's meant to be a dance, where we find our rhythm and move together in harmony. And the beautiful thing about dance is that there's room for everyone. So here's my invitation to you. When you leave here today, think about this: what can you let go of to create more peace? It doesn't have to be something big. Maybe it's forgiving someone. Maybe it's forgiving yourself. Maybe it's simply taking a deep breath and choosing to respond with kindness instead of anger. Because every step we take toward peace matters. Every small act of love, understanding, and compassion creates a ripple that can change the world. And never forget, peace isn't a distant dream. It's a real possibility. But it starts with us. It starts with imagining, believing, and choosing to live differently. So keep imagining, keep believing, and most of all, keep choosing peace. Thank you for listening.